So I'm sure you guys have noticed the uploads have not been as frequent as they used to be. And that's not by accident. It's not random. It's kind of by design. I kind of changed my mindset of how I wanted to upload content. Things changed over time. I learned a bunch as I uploaded, and there's different things that I mean, I wish I can go back and do differently. And there's things that I really enjoyed that I did. When I first started the channel, I think it just started as a hobby. I think a lot of people who do YouTube, it starts off as a hobby, not so much nowadays, but it started off as a hobby. I was just kind of doing it as I was going to college online, taking care of my son. And then after a certain point, I realized that I really enjoyed making content. So that's what I kind of did. Then as I grew, my mindset shifted a little bit and I was more focused on obtaining certain goals. Maybe it was 10,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 1,000,000 subscribers. And along with that comes the monetary part of it as well, because if you get a lot of views, you're going to make a decent amount of money. You're going to start to bring in more advertisers, which lead to more revenue that way. And then, you know, there ends up being this bubble around you of people wanting to interact with you because of that type of success. But something a lot of people don't really talk about is also once you start doing that and get to a certain point, there's a certain obligation to post content for your subscribers. Outside of gaining subscribers, outside of enjoying it, outside of, you know, feeling like you're good at it, there's kind of an obligation of you subscribe for one thing, let me make content for that one thing you subscribe for. And there's so many times comments over the years where people are like, oh man, I really appreciate the content. It helped me through this particular time because it was either funny or informative or whatever the case was. A lot of people reference COVID because of the blow up with Warzone, but there's a lot of instances of that before COVID and after. And it's not like just the content has changed, because a lot has happened over 8 years of making content. But also my life has changed quite a bit. When I first started making videos, like I mentioned, I was going to school online, I was taking care of my little toddler son, who's now a preteen and requires a lot of time. I got to take him to school, pick him up. He does sports. He hangs out with various friends, and you know, I'm kind of the chauffeur around. I got to drive him around until at least he can get a license and stuff like that. And that's kind of, you know, a problem that I had early on in the channel. My work-life balance was pretty bad. I sacrificed a lot of things. It would be sleep, going to birthdays, going to events, celebrating my own successes, just to make sure that I was getting in and putting in the work and seeing those successes, and they inevitably paid off. But at a certain point, something's got to give. And on top of it, there's so many other factors that you guys do see in the comments on occasion or in other videos. But sometimes it's just the toxicity buildup is a little bit excessive. That's just kind of part that comes with it. But when the success is there, it's easy to overlook and just not worry about that. And it's just part of it, and you just got to deal with it. But realistically, at a certain point, it just adds up over time, and it's really not worth it. It's like at a certain point, you're like, do I really need to deal with, you know, the grifters claiming that I cheat or defend cheaters, or I have walls, or some other nonsense that they got to make up to grift their grift with no substantiated evidence to back up their grift. And it doesn't stop with just the gaming aspect. Sometimes there's threats to your family or your person. And at a certain point, it's really just not worth it to cover COD at that level of toxicity when that's the type of content that will do well. So, you know, at a certain point, you got to kind of reflect on that and decide whether or not it's even worth it to lean into those types of content, get involved with drama. Although it can get a lot of views and it'd be good for your channel at times, it could also be very toxic on that part. And luckily, at a certain point, I reached a point where I didn't need to really chase views. So I was able to take a step back, reflect, and really think about what I wanted to post. Is it, if it's going to be fun to post or not? And COD has been really limited in the past, I don't know, year or so. A lot of the content, it's felt like you've been pressured to make negative content around the whole game. At least since Warzone 2 and MW2, when that dropped, there was a significant push for more toxicity. Obviously, the game had more issues, but it's kind of one of those things that's had a trickle effect, the COD fatigue. We've had several videos on this. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you know not, a lot of this stuff isn't new. But I thought I'd kind of contain it all in one place and kind of just vent a little bit, talk about some of the different things, and kind of give you kind of an update on the channel because of the infrequency of those uploads. It'd be great if I enjoyed making negative content. It'd be the easiest thing to pump out every single day. But I decided I didn't want to do that. I haven't forced myself to make content in that way. And to be clear on COD, at the moment, I don't actually dislike COD, really. I think BO7, I like a lot of aspects of it. I like Endgame now that it's been kind of updated and has all the features that I think it should have launched with. Even though I think multiplayer is pretty solid overall. I like a lot of the maps. I like the way that the TTK, I like a lot of the systems are in place, are pretty good. Prestiges, camos, all that stuff. Zombies, I'm having a lot of fun with. I'm playing a ton of. And overall, I think the entire package of BO7, pretty solid. But at the same time, the campaign was honestly one of the worst campaigns in the history of Call of Duty. And maybe in the history of gaming, it was pretty bad. So that stumble out the gate was probably one of the biggest that it was too big for COD to overcome. I am seeing a little bit of hype with MW4, but we'll see what happens when that actually starts getting that hype train going. Because it seems like the Infinity Ward games seem to be a little bit more hyped than the Treyarch at least have been in the past 5 or 6 years. If we look at the track record of those games. Warzone also seems like it's in a pretty good spot. And generally, I like the idea that they added the map rotation finally, but they don't have all the playlists. Like if I want to play duos, you don't have duos. My favorite mode's trios, and they tend to take that out for ranked. And it just creates a whole issue on itself. And we'll kind of see what MW4 brings. And although there's already starting to build hype around it, I'm still waiting to see. I have no clue what the heck that's going to offer because I played MW2, which was their last game, and that caused a lot of issues. I could chase views in other ways. Like I said, I can go the toxicity route, which I think is crappy if I don't actually feel being negative about the game every single day. The other route I could do is just blatantly lie. I could come out with a new OP build every single day, pull something from the store that looks cool and make a video about it. Plenty of content creators do that currently. And that's okay. That's their niche. I don't really want to infringe on that niche. And I actually know enough about the weapons that I couldn't, in good faith, make a lot of those videos saying this gun is gas, this build is gas, and it's just complete garbage that they're selling you in the store for a low tier weapon that you'll basically never use is garbage. So I don't really want to do that either. I feel like in the past we did some good reaction content. I enjoyed a lot of those videos. And I felt like I added a lot of value. I could break things down, make it interesting. We even did top player things. And for a while, those videos, were pretty solid. And then I think they started to get a little bit too saturated. And with the negativity bubble that happened with MW2 and after, a lot of those videos became a little bit more negative. My energy was a little bit more negative. But that's also kind of the state of the game was in. And at a certain point, I was just like, I'm over that. And I didn't really want to continue building content around that energy. I think there's still people doing it well. Not a lot of people. I think there's so many people that are still doing that type of content, but only like maybe Jev or Marley13 are killing it in those types of videos where they're reacting to randoms and actually adding a unique perspective that adds value, in my opinion. So I just decided not to force those types of videos, even though realistically I could do those daily. I can react to 3 spectating randoms daily and it would be nothing. But it's like, I'm not really passionate about it at the moment. So it's like, why? For the sake of doing it. Luckily, I've been experimenting on my second channel. The game called Crimson Desert came out. I've uploaded 9 videos on that. I plan to upload a variety of other games on my second channel, whether it's tips, review, guides, those types of things. And out of the 9 videos, 7 of them performed pretty well, especially for the channel. And a couple of them even performed way above expectations, breaking 30, 40, 100,000 views on the second channel. And it felt great. Comment sections aren't about COD. They're about a great game and the hype around that game and asking questions about that game and interested in that game. And if I post another game, the people on those videos will also be interested in it versus the COD comment section. This game is trash. People still playing it. What are you doing? You're a paid shill. Oh, you're a cheater. Blah. It just on and on and on with nothing to do with the actual content. Not thanks for the build. Update looks good. Update looks like trash. Nope, nothing about the actual content that's being made, just content spam on every video related to COD. And again, that goes back to like, is that type of content really worth it? Beyond the obligation and enjoying certain aspects of COD that I can make content on, kind of like one of those things where it's just, why? I even took a step back from my sponsorships because I felt like I was getting too many. There was a point where I needed to post like a tweet every single day or every other day. Every video needed to include a sponsored section. It just got overwhelming, so I cut back dramatically on that. So I only work with aim controllers for my controllers. I work with FPS Hub for my computer stuff and PC optimization, which they're awesome. I've been doing a ton of sponsorships and partnerships with Factor Meals, and I think I got a few more for the rest of the year. I think we did a whole year basically signing up with them because I enjoy their product. And I think that's pretty much it for now. I don't really need any other ones, even though I think it would be cool to fill up my fridge with some Ghost Energy. I drink those pretty regularly. I got to stock my fridge, but that'd be a cool one. But besides that, keep it simple. Make the content really just about the content, and the partnerships I have any interest in. So to be clear, moving forward on this channel, I'm still going to post Call of Duty when it interests me. For the most part, meta updates, those are kind of the standard. I can't stop posting those. Like I said, I'm obligated to really post those. They don't take a ton of time. I test a few of the weapons that are new. Whatever gets updated in the patch notes, I update it. And then you guys got the spreadsheet so you can see it ahead of time, even if I don't post the video. Loadouts are pretty basic at this point too, like they were back in MW 2019 in the first year and a half of Warzone. Monolithic suppressor, longest barrel, biggest mag, optic, which is the glassless. Boom, we got 4 out of the 5 attachments. And then you either solve for recoil or bullet velocity, and you get 3 different attachment slots to solve that with: underbarrel, rear grip, or ammo. And then you solve for those. And that's basically all the loadouts for long range. Close range, you build them a little bit more depending on your recoil control, but that's an aside. News and updates, I still think those are important. I think if the COD drops a trailer, probably react to that, see my thoughts on that. If I get to play it early, give my thoughts and opinions on that, tell you whether it's going to be like worth playing or not. Who knows? But because of that schedule, it's reliant on them updating the game, putting out content that is worth covering, which means uploads may be as infrequent as once per month, maybe once every other month. I think we had 22 days before the previous upload, which was the longest gap I think I had on the channel since I started the channel. Before that, we had like 18 days or something like that. So they've been few and far between. I know that I'm talking and most people won't even listen to this part or whatever. They don't care. They already tuned out. That's okay. This video is for more the people that plan to continue following the channel, watching the content, and kind of understanding my thought process. And if you're not a ball and gun gamer, maybe you want to check out the second channel and see what's going on over there, because I plan to actually cover the games I've been playing. I played 30 or 40 games last year. I didn't cover a single one. This year, I've already covered a different one, and I plan to cover more as the year progresses, because I don't have anything else to post on COD really until MW4 drops. And if it's garbage, I don't really want to post the negativity. And posting on the second channel has been a lot of fun because I can just post it without worrying about how many views it's going to get, or if it's going to grow, or if anyone cares, or if it's going to invite negativity or any of that trash I don't have to worry about. And then I also get to relearn the thought process on when I make videos. The overall way to make videos for COD, you fall in a few different buckets. There's so many different channels that offer a variety of content. With other games, there's also those things, but I got to kind of find what works for me. So I'm back to the learning of, ooh, okay, what could I do to help improve retention? What do people actually like? What are thumbnails you have to do? Versus COD is basic. You know, you just do a gun with the cool camo and you put some text on it and GG, it's over. This one kind of got to think about it, which is kind of fun to do again, which I haven't had to do for like 4 years, because it's basically cookie cutter what you do for thumbnails and titles and that type of stuff without being clickbaity, because that's terrible. A lot of that goes on in the other games too. Just like people are doing bundles with garbage. There's people doing tons of garbage videos in other games too. It's always good to kind of have a little bit of a channel update every once in a while. Kind of giving an idea of my thought process. Yeah, COD's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not going to force a daily upload, which I really have stepped away from doing anyways. And then, you know, at the end of the day, if I do it this way, the content overall will be better and I'll have more energy behind the content. I also think it'd be interesting to cover other aspects of COD, because I think right now the end game is pretty cool. I don't know if there's an interest for that. And then zombies, like I said, I play a ton of that, do all the Easter eggs, all the side Easter eggs, all the relics, do all the challenges around 75, cursed, triple on all survival. Like I do it all. But I don't upload anything about it. I just have fun with it. So we'll see where that goes. Hopefully, guys made it to this point. I didn't make it particularly long, but I did want to say these things. So Appreciate you guys who hung out here. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If not, no big deal. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.